November 6th, 2018 for Platteville Board of Trustees. Can I have a moment of silence for all those serving inside and outside our building? All right, will you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can I have roll call, please, Mary?
Mayor Adrian Sandoval.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Clark.
Here.
Harold Leggett.
Here.
Nick Ralston.
Here.
Spencer Bradnan.
Here.
Troy Blum.
Here.
Hope Morris.
Here. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Audience participation.
Good.
Okay, moving on. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda that includes the meeting minutes for October 16th, 2018.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Action items. Purchase and sale agreement of 410 Goodrich Avenue continued from the October 2nd, 2018 regular meeting for the Board of Trustees. Mr. Ingham?
Mr. Mayor, I summarized this in my staff report to the board. I spoke to Mr. DeVries several times over the last month, basically. He kept trying to obtain financing to secure the property. And as of the end of last week, I spoke to him. I told him to either show up tonight or provide me with a pre-qual letter for financing, and I've not heard from him. So I'm asking the board, unlike we did last time where we did sell bid with a certain date, I'd like to just advertise it for sale by owner with a minimum asking price of $140. And if the shop is completely cleaned out, whoever works did a really nice job, putting everything in the storage container that we bought, or trashed it, got rid of it. You know, so we hauled off a big roll off, I think, full, pretty close. But it's viewable. We changed, Hawkeye changed, Novotny changed the keys because they had one of the master keys. But I'd like to put out a sign starting tomorrow for sale by owner, minimum ask 140, and then when an offer comes in, I bring it to the board at the very next meeting and see if that's something that you would want to approve. So that's from requesting tonight, but also to rescind Mr. DeVries' bid because it's secure financing.
Any questions?
I make a motion to rescind the approval of an offer to purchase 410 Goodrich Avenue from Mr. DeVries and list the property as for sale by owner with a minimum opening offer of $140,000.
Second.
I have a motion and several seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. You'll put that sign up for tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll work the day will be that listed tomorrow. I think Mary's gonna put it on Craigslist as well.
Okay, moving on, resolution 2018-18, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville certifying delinquent municipal charges to the Well County Treasurer for collection pursuant to CRS section 312105. Mr. Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm actually gonna defer to Mary on this. This is a front office admin issue.
Each year we review any accounts that are outstanding and submit them to the county treasurer. The due date for that is December 1st, and that's why it's coming to you now, even though it's not quite the end of the year. We get those into them, and then that money is collected via property tax payment.
These two properties are typically on the list every year.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2018-18, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville certifying delinquent municipal charges to the Well County Treasurer for collection pursuant to CRS section 3120-105.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. C, agreement for services, holiday parade fireworks, tri-state fireworks, Mr. Rankin?
If I could slow down so we stay here. For the last few years, we added a small fireworks display, approximately half what we do for Harvest Daze, as a partnership with the Lions Club for the parade of lights, we used to be years ago, and then the Lions Club took it over. I think they have a theme, Peanuts characters thing this year. It's well received, it's a nice turnout after the parade, weather permitting. I think Curtis said they hope to have 10 to 15 floats, hopefully. And I know people really enjoy it. We always hope it snows slightly in the fireworks display. That's pretty cool when you discharge. But haven't been able to do that quite yet. But the fireworks will go off 7 o'clock that night. The board approves. I talked to Sharon and Joe at Tri-State. They said they're, because of tariffs from China, as you can imagine, prices will go up next year, but right now it's still set for $2,500 for the display. I always fail to budget this, but we'll take this as some kind of miscellaneous expenditure. So if the board approves this tonight. That's all I got.
Any other questions?
So we're definitely gonna have to, take in that consideration, next year to budget a little bit higher for our fireworks.
I'm making a note right now.
Either the display will be shorter or we need to increase the
No,
budget.
we can't be sure.
And she doesn't know yet what it'll be because it's too early to tell on the, because what they do is they buy a full cargo freight from China for pretty much the year. And this is the cost of the freight, the tariffs on that 5 poles, she said. So.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve an agreement for services with Tri-State Fireworks in an amount not to exceed $2,500 and authorize the mayor to execute same.
I have a motion and a second, roll call please, Mary?
Harold Leggett,
Aye.
Nick Ralston,
Aye.
Spencer Bradnan,
Aye.
Troy Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Hope Morris.
Yes.
Moving on, D, agreement for cost sharing, Platteville Gilchrist Fire Protection District, Mr. Rankin.
Mr. Mayor. We talked about this several times during the budget preparation process, and the board knows that David and I and Steve Repairs have had multiple meetings with the fire district, primarily the consultant. His name's Fred Lashapa, I believe that's what you pronounce it, I always pronounce it wrong. But in recent meetings, they've tried to work on the grading of the storm drain. I put in the packet a couple of fairly recent proposals from this past month. They're wanting the town to budget and pay for storm drainage improvements required for their new station to be built. We've gone back and forth. I advised that we talked about doing some cost sharing for what we believe to Mr. Bethers and what the improvements would be along Town Hall property along Main Street. So around $20,000 in the storm drainage fund, which would wipe out the fund and fund the development funds for design and engineering. And another up to $70,000 for actual construction along the Town Hall portion. And that does not include the $35,000 in budget to build a new sidewalk when the time comes. As you can see, they're asking for almost just shy of $300,000 improvements. I do want to advise the board, some of you are new since last development, but our philosophy or policy has always been development pays its own way regardless. Three most recent examples is Journey Homes and Waters Farm Phase 3. Over by that park, they built that huge detention pond, and that captures all the water from the entire subdivision, not just Phase 3. Before it just daylighted out into Phase 3, it was a ditch, basically, that ended up getting somewhere, so we didn't have a problem. And then also, Platte River had to consider offset drainage from surrounding residential areas, which was a huge impact. But once they paved those roads, they had to move water somewhere. That's that water retention pond. A smaller one by Anadarko, and then the shallow one south 32.5, which, just so you know, the town will have to be solely responsible for improving that to take the storm flow in future years from the fire department property and this section of town. So we don't know what those numbers are going to be yet. I spoke with Dale Boehner, who owns the energy part, and we're looking at since the, like, Platte River Farms is gonna be available to purchase, I'm gonna talk to the board in the future months about that outlaw bees, what's called, the Platte River Farms, because we need to, and that will also affect the storm drainage for Reynolds Avenue. So there's a lot of spokes in this wheel, so to speak, on this issue. Two things I pointed out with the fire district consultant is we're currently negotiating, and I haven't heard back yet from my meeting with Tim Billabrat at CDOT, the devolution of Main Street. Over 300,000 of that devolution cost estimates for storm drainage, which would definitely impact along this section of Main Street. That's number one. Number two, like I mentioned, Steve Affairs, the board has authorized tentatively funds to design and engineer and survey Reynolds, which part of that includes the Main Street inlet or pipe for the storm drainage. So as I indicated, it's a matter of timing. I mean, if we could wait a year, we might be able to come up with some money that we could cost share more with. I thought long and hard about my proposal to the board is not to add any more than we're already proposing. We're not required to add a dime, but we have a good relationship with the fire district. It's a community benefit. I think we can justify the improvements along Town Hall. But as far as Reynolds and that big portion down there, I just can't justify that in my mind. I just can't.
And what precedents are we setting?
That's another thing, you kind of put a Pandora's box, because even though the fire district is new development, and one time 5 years ago, the board did provide around $26,000 for the energy park because they were only required to pay half of that intersection of Division and 34 per development standards, and we don't want a half street. So we cost shared with and provided $26,000 roughly to finish that intersection to where it was fully paved, but that was the only incident I can remember.
Which was way cheaper than us paving it ourselves.
Oh, yeah, because they did it and it was already,
Right.
we were just paying for asphalt, not really labor, it was already built into it, so that was pretty cheap. Yeah, that wouldn't have been done for that much.
So I guess I'd have to ask Kendra then, are we setting a precedent that we can't go back on if we were to do this for the new development of the fire district, but not for someone else in the future?
No, I don't think so. We address it at the time, but no, I don't think we are.
We talked about this during the budget study, and I was understanding that us throwing in this 90,000 is because we're gonna be doing some development back here as well, so it will benefit our water drainage of the, so I mean, it's not really, I guess per se, paying some of the way for the development, for the fire department, as if, I mean, we're gonna be developing this like, we're bringing the code up to, or the water drainage up to speed before we start developing back there, so it's not directly towards the fire department.
They've asked for 300,000 from us.
Right. But we aren't giving them 300,000, we're doing 90, but that's the development, drainage development, because we're gonna be disturbing land back here and developing as well.
And that's,
And that's how I justified
yeah.
agreeing with
And
that.
that's probably 50% true, because they're not taking consideration all of the town hall properties. We're gonna have to design that separately.
Okay.
But you're right.
It's just here though, because,
But you're right, on the side of the shop, we're actually going to basically let them use part of the town property, not their own, to develop a swell between the shop and the new firehouse to help alleviate the water from the town property, but also the backside of their property to get to this ditch or to their small retention pond they have to build on the north side of the property.
right,
So we've already agreed to that it's probably about a 60-foot wide swath of land between, if we built 2 new bays, it'd be the end of the newest bay to their property line. We're agreed. You know, the town needs a place also to put some of the water, but not all of it. So it's a dual benefit. So we're already willing to give up 60-foot right of way for this storm drainage easement basically, and make a long swell, and that's fine. We'll grass it, we'll mow it.
right. And I guess, I mean, what your concern was too, is setting precedents as well as yours, as other developments coming in here to say, well, you help the fire department out, why can't you do something with us? And now, me, I was thinking it was just justifiable us putting that 90,000 down because we're going to be doing some development as well.
And absolutely, I'm not asking board to recant that 90,000. I still support that. I think we can do that. But the total amount would wipe out our capital improvement fund. We have to take away all of the projects.
I understand, and I was just, I guess more say justifying, that's my understanding on
Yeah,
the 90,000.
exactly.
So we wouldn't be setting a precedent with that other development.
And we haven't gone back and forth on the meeting, sorry, Mayor, but there is some water impact coming across from the east side of Main Street, from Washington, Reynolds, and then Lincoln. And of course, part of our property right now is pretty much all pervious surface, it's all pretty much concrete. So even though it doesn't really flow across Main Street, there's inlets and there's pipes that go under Main Street to daylight to this ditch, so there's some impact. But my argument with Fred, and it sometimes has been an argument, that it works now. There's no flooding. Even in 2013, we didn't have any flooding in the pond. The water grows a little bit, but it saturates. We have real sandy soil. So I can't articulate that we're trying to improve the drainage for the east side when currently it's effective.
Right.
It's not great, but it's effective. So I do want to maintain a good report of the fire department, but I think 90,000 is all we can budget, because I think we articulate that's for the town hall portion and for future improvements to the town public works project.
Okay.
At least that's my point of view to the board.
And from what I read in your report, Kendra, we don't have, nothing in the agreements between the town and the fire
Yep.
district compels the town to make these payments?
Exactly. We did not agree to any payments.
The current agreement we have is when we acquired these lots the fire district didn't need to add to the town property. We basically waived planning and impact fees in exchange for the property. And we paid them a little bit more money than that because of the price value. But actually, Melissa was in today. Her and Fred were working out. She thought they had to do a reimbursement agreement. I said, no, we waived it because we're already going to assume those plan review costs. Whatever Kendra has to spend on, which probably won't be a whole lot, but most of these people theirs and unless they're town planner. We'll just pay for their time, whatever that may be. So there's an additional cost involved that's, we're monitoring it, I just don't know what it is yet, because we're really starting the process.
But we're not obligated to pay these costs that they're asking.
I was a little shocked to see the cost, but I think it's fair. But again, if they choose to, to hold on, depending on how the election night goes and property tax income and push it back a year, there's a likely chance we can do the agreement with CDOT and we'd be able to have some funding to help offset the additional costs for Rams Avenue. But that's not our call. So, but that's all I really have. I wanted to answer any questions you have. I try to be explanatory in my report on this topic. And I know there, Chief Durkee and I are in the same philosophical budgetary agreement. We want to be good stewards of our taxpayers' money. And another point, this town supported their initiative, the ballot initiative from the fire station. I did too. But that money really should go to the project, and we'll put chips in the investment. That's my point.
Blair, anything, Hope? Anything to add? Okay. Entertain a motion.
I move to approve the cost sharing agreement with the Platteville Fire Protection District in an amount not to exceed 90,000, 20,000 from the storm drainage fund and 70,000 from the capital improvements fund. Pending review by legal counsel and authorize mayor to execute same.
I interject one thing. Starting in 2019, the new budget.
Amended to the 2019 budget.
Thank you. I forgot. I just realized that this is next year's budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Mary.
Nick Ralston,
Aye.
Spencer Bradnan,
Aye.
Troy Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Harold Leggett.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to reports. Mrs. Carpenter.
So I don't have anything to add to my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Any questions?
All of a sudden, I can't think. I forgot to bring my notepad.
Just because you mentioned in your report anything going on with that cell tower that you,
We have not heard back. Excuse me. I last communicated with them that site along Salisbury on the corner of Riverview Park, closer to the apartments with the west side. They confirmed that they would do their final research with Sprint, and we're waiting on them to respond back. He worked out that, what's it called?
Oh, the master license.
Master
We're
license.
working, yes, well, that's the ZIO agreement that we're working on, so, once that gets finalized, they can start to put, facilities in, they'll look like those, you probably have a picture, they're little poles.
Yeah. Yeah, they're smaller than a regular utility pole, but
We'd love it if they went all on the existing poles, but sometimes they find it easier to just do their own poles.
Can we add bat houses too?
Sure. Should talk to them about that.
That's a good thought.
That's a really good one.
Bat houses.
for bad house.
Yes.
I was just thinking about boys' nests.
No, I know. We're talking, well, yeah, we have bat problems at my house, so we're talking about bat houses, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right, anything else for Kendra? All right, thank you, Kendra. Mr. Rankin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. By the way, David's here tonight in case there's any questions on the old shop property or the fire district. He's been involved with both of those, so.
Thank you, David.
A number of items I listed in my board report, senior bus update, Reynolds Avenue was missed with theirs. I didn't see them out there today. Steve was gonna have that geotech company do that soil test.
Yeah, they rescheduled it, I not passed that
No,
on.
infiltration, but.
Sorry.
That would be positive if that came back, the way we could do that. It'd save us a ton of money, actually. In ClearGov, next Tuesday, we'll have a short demo on ClearGov. I think the board will enjoy that, see if it's justified to add that to the budget, but, we can be very transparent to our citizens, and it's very easy for people to track what we're doing financially. David actually has a tour coming up with JVA on a couple of sites that they're gonna look at. When they whittle it down to more of a one-site proposal on the type of treatment. I know we talked about this in staff with the mayor that, we would invite the board to attend a field trip to visit that site, to kind of show what our site, when it's built out, may look like and how they operate. So that's coming up at some point, probably during the snow blizzard, where it works out. Perfect.
Will we have our bus by then?
Go scratching your bus up.
And you saw I put in my report, some
Yeah.
samples of the design and stuff, and, it's well below budget. I just could not justify adding wrap around the outside and logos and all that kind of stuff, so. But anyway. Diane gives some information from the library report. One thing on Central Well, I mentioned that David and I met with Randy Ray. Over this past week, and I had an email from a realtor that was representing a farm up north along the South Platte, that had Farmers Independent Ditch water rights, 24 shares for sale, along with the property, so around a $3 million property. I didn't know how that, we could use Farmers Independent Ditch. We have a partial share in the Platte River irrigation milling ditch. Emailed Randy Ray. He said they could work with us to find a way where we could further augment our wells. So, because right now things are fine, but eventually we'll hit another drought, and the state closed the wells back in 405, pretty much, and we have to go back to potable water to irrigate grass, which I can't stand doing. So he wanted to wait till after tonight's election. I guess there was a 7E initiative that could impact the water district. I'm not sure what that was about.
You didn't get it in your ballot?
I probably did, but I didn't pay attention to it.
In and out, I understand.
Okay. It's kind of like looking at all the judges. I mean, I'm sorry, I just have no idea what those should know.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have said that. So we're just trying to find ways to get water to a well that we have at Rogers Farm. It really doesn't have any quarter rights. We have to supply water to it. It's kind of a complicated issue, but I'll update them before more once I know more. And Mary said she's the front office getting calls on that utility bill that I sent out.
A lot of them?
One that was unpleasant. But,
Feel free to give them my number.
a few, it's a frequent caller,
I'll send you that,
so,
just so you know.
it's okay. Some,
Halloween's over now.
We gotta put the turkey gobble on there for Thanksgiving. They won't shut up.
I feel like we need a comic relief right then and there, thank you.
but if they get out of control,
Okay.
we'll let you know.
Yeah, we're having that same problem because we're going to a new billing schedule. And one of the craziest ones we got out there says, I understand what's everybody else's problem. I've been telling them they should have done that for the last 10 years. But
And it's not easy, but like I indicated, if we get just an overwhelming amount of questions, I can work with Adrian and let's do an early public hearing with JVA to help address any questions, concerns they have. You know, obviously concerns because it's going to be more financial, you know, responsibility to the community, but we really won't know a whole lot till later in the year. So,
Did you get those, comparison numbers from surrounding communities?
that chart I sent out, did you get that? It was with the letter in your utility bill. Sorry,
I didn't open it.
I didn't resend it to you since y'all lived here. It's in your utility bill.
Let's just pay it.
Yeah, I think mine.
Tell your wife, where's the bill? I need to see that chart. But
I can put that in the Dropbox
yeah,
for you
we'll just
too,
put the Dropbox.
so that you can refer to it.
Thank you.
In the staff and Charlotte and Devin and Mary and I, we did a good job contacting. We use the same towns that we use for the salaries here. And some information isn't available because it doesn't show, like some towns, they don't, you know, charge for trash through a contract. They, you know, they fund it out. Clients, they have to go get their own. So we don't know what those costs are. One town only has water and sewer, nothing else. So it's hard to tell. Every town's a little different on how they're set up. Because some towns will contract with, like Tri-Town, they'll contract with St. Vrain Sand for wastewater services. Otherwise, the other last couple of things I have, talking to Melissa today, we're going to have to call the Board of Adjustments. It's only the third time in 15 years we've called the Board of Adjustments because that's the height variance request from the fire district. The last two times we called them, I think in 09 and 2013, was for height variance for Bay State milling on the grain elevators on the sides. Yep. And the top peak of the new fire station, I think it's around 42 feet, and that's well above, about 12 feet above our maximum allowance for our building standards. So once they formally submit an application, which they should be sometime in the next month, we hope. But what I'm getting at is we have, last time we had a Board of Adjustments hearing, Earl Ryder was our chairman. Since that time, obviously, you know, he has passed. But the members include Bill Foy, Richard Johannes, Steve Shaver, Mike Evans, I believe he's in the chair, Jane Mamer, and Hope. With Kendrick, I just want to verify that there's no conflict with current board members or planning commission members being on the Board of Adjustments.
No.
The way the code reads is the Board of Adjustments hears it, and then it stops with them. So it doesn't really go to the planning commission or the board.
Sure.
If they, the way I read it today, if they deny and they want to appeal it, then it would come to the board.
Exactly.
So, but I think the last time we called one in 2013, one or two of these members really weren't interested. So I'm working with Mary on contacting them to give them a heads up and verify that they still want to participate, because this is like the library board. You would appoint replacements on the Board of Adjustments. You as a governing body would. So, but it's rarely called because of the variance.
That's a good group of people. Yeah.
Because, you know, only getting together over 5 to 8 years, they have no idea what to do. That big the gavel. But really, that's, other than next Tuesday, we have the study session. We'll start off with Reggie will be here, last I knew, talk We've been working on the job description for a rec director position. I want to go ahead and have some preliminary discussion on how we're gonna fill that. I thought the board appointed, it's actually my hiring is what it is, so we'll work on that. But what I usually do with department heads anyway, like with David or with Carl, is I put together a committee and I step out of it, just so I can be fair and impartial. I like doing that, gets involvement, so. And then we'll do the ClearGov demo, and then based upon, regardless of tonight's election outcome, we will finalize the draft budget, hopefully.
Are we gonna be talking, discussing fees as well?
Fees, oh, for the appendix A, which fees were those?
I have fees to discuss,
Cemetery?
credit card payments, processing,
Oh, that's right.
leaf and limb day, and cemetery.
Cemetery.
Mhm.
Those will become consideration for the appendix A.
And community center fees with upgrade.
True. I don't know if we're there yet, but once we
Right.
renovate it. We'll go ahead, that'll be part of the budget conversation, those fees. So, can you send those to me so I don't forget?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
The other thing we'll talk about with the budget is, I did build into the current draft budget of 4% for hourly wages. The board is going to reconvene and talk about salary wages. We, at some point, need to do my evaluation. I don't know if you wanted to start that next Tuesday after the study session before, do you want to wait till December meeting, or what do you want to do? Larry?
I wait for this all year.
Yes, and you, we can do executive session with study session.
No, we have to call a special meeting.
Oh,
for-
special.
A special meeting for
Yeah.
exec, okay.
If we want to have an exec, we have to call a special meeting, but it's fine, you can call a special meeting at any time.
Is Tuesday work for everybody, after, or before our study session? Yeah,
I'd rather do the study session first,
First,
so
okay.
Reggie can get here and get out, and then
Okay.
we'll wrap that up, and,
okay,
we can start study session at 6:30 and just go ahead and call the special meeting at 7, even though it'll probably be at 7, but at least if we do get there early, we can go ahead and have it.
okay,
Will that work?
yeah, that works for everybody?
I don't have evaluation form for you, but I'd like to at least start. We had last year, but to get them out, to get them back in time. I know last year, I know Troy mentioned during my evaluation that doing different, some kind of different format, because I want, I like the board to set some, some goals and objectives. I like to do that. I really, we establish the budget, and that's kind of my objective for the year, but other things that may come up to your mind, would like to be done, seen, I appreciate that. So, we work on that next, we'll do that 7 o'clock next Tuesday. Otherwise, that's all I have for right now. Any questions you may have?
Any other question?
I don't have a question for Troy, I have a question for Kevin.
Yes.
Would you care to comment on the possibility of Amendment 74 and 112 both passing?
I'm just looking at it right
The
now.
implications of them both passing, we just seem to be at loggerheads with one another.
Yeah, I agree, they are, I don't think either will pass. If
Really?
they both pass, then we're gonna have a lot of work to do.
Oh,
It would
cool.
seem-
I don't think this one's
It would just.
Well,
be-
right now, it's 58-44 for both, around there for both.
For both of them, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only 5% recording, so I don't know, but
Both of them being defeated or both of them being passed?
both of them being defeated,
No, okay.
sorry. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, if they both pass, we will be.
There'll be full employment for attorneys.
Exactly, that's what he said, it's just like Tabor, I hate to say it, but.
Sure, absolutely.
People love Tabor, but really, that just is a lot of work for lawyers.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. I've been against publicly, no, I'm just kidding. No, neither of them should pass, I mean,
No.
I'm not giving my personal, I'm just saying,
Oh, I know.
as a lawyer, it will be a lot of work if either of them pass to try to implement. And I honestly don't think, even if 112 passes, it'll have a lot of effect, because the 6,000 applications that were put into the COGCC this month,
Yes.
none of those will be subject to 112, even if it passes, so
And that's a good point. I mean, you talk about going next Thursday, say, hypothetically it does pass. It's not like we have to slash the budget next Tuesday,
Nope.
because it's gonna take several years.
For those wells to run dry.
So,
And I don't think that it's gonna make a lot of difference with those I think it was over 6,000.
there's a lot. I didn't get the exact
I mean, they
number.
just submitted an application to drill into Rocky Flats, which, there's nothing there. But they submitted the application so that, just in case, they don't have to deal with 112.
They're already in place.
Right. So all of those 6,000 applications will have 112 won't apply to. So I think even if it passes, we're not gonna see a lot of effects. I know that the ads are saying otherwise, but I think it's hopefully not.
You mean there's misleading political ads on television?
Well, I just think because everybody got their applications in early,
Shocked.
I don't think we're gonna see that effect for several years if we see it at all, and by that time it could be overturned. So,
Right, and what would be the procedure that would have to take place to overturn? Is that something that
probably
court,
another
the court
election.
could do?
Perhaps the court, perhaps another election, you know, so.
I mean, I just, obviously, looking at the worst case scenario
Sure.
in terms of financial impact and property tax primarily, although sales tax, any number of other
Right.
sources of revenue that down
I don't think it will affect much, because most of the wells are already in play, and
Right.
it doesn't apply to any
So
of
the
them.
sky isn't falling after?
I don't, that's just my impression. I don't think
Well,
this guy's
okay,
fault.
I mean,
But yeah,
value your opinion, I'm just trying to make an assessment as to what this board might wanna be looking at in
Sure.
the event that it passes,
true,
and how immediate the implications might be to the budgetary process.
understood, and, yeah, let's just see, but I think there are so many applications and permit applications in play, I don't think it's gonna have a huge effect immediately, but, you know,
Oh, you're right.
I hope so too. I mean, but right now, it's failing, so maybe we'll.
Well, the pros and cons would say it does pass, at least this is my perspective. We need to work on other sources of revenue, and gives us a few years to do so, bring in some other, residential or commercial or retail development along our corridor of 85. 66 is pretty much off limits because we're landlocked with the river.
Well, we should anyways, because
Yeah, we need to anyway.
oil and gas is feast or famine.
Very true.
And it's a finite resource as well. It might not, it may not be for 30, 40 years before it runs dry, but it's going to at some point in time.
So it's one of the biggest midterm elections I've seen in a long time, both locally and nationally.
Sure.
But I can't wait to watch regular TV in about a week.
Oh, what about the text messages?
Oh my God.
I never got any, so.
I think we should get some.
Oh, my wife has a perfect answer for some of my solicited phone calls. She gets on the phone, she says, before I can talk to you, I need your credit card number. What'd she call herself on? Like an advisor of some variety, my rate is $125 an hour. So before I can talk to you, I need your credit card number. They hang up.
I get text messages more than phone calls.
No, I don't get any text messages. Good, I'm glad.
She's been threatened by the IRS to be arrested.
Oh, yeah.
At least it
Oh,
doesn't
me
happen.
too, and I asked him, do you know exactly where I'm at, because at the time I was in Minnesota. I said, come and get me.
I called Carl, asked him if she was on the schedule for her to be picked up. But he didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
Can I bug you one more about this 112? It seems to me there are a certain number of counties in the state that absolutely are not impacted by oil drilling whatsoever.
Mhm.
And
A lot of them,
Right.
most of them.
And wouldn't it be more appropriate for the counties that are in that business to be making
Right.
decisions as to whether or not they continue to want to be impacted by
Sure.
2,500 feet or 500 feet or whatever?
Yep, I agree.
And
Wasn't there a proposition a few years ago which they tried to allow each county to self-regulate on home gas?
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be a better situation, but
Exactly.
it hasn't
You know,
happened.
if you're down in Cortez, you haven't seen an oil well unless you looked at a picture of one.
Right, exactly.
And you're not likely to see one.
Well, sitting county is Denver, so it's in.
Precisely.
Right.
I mean, where you have people that have no vested interest in it one way or another, but their vote is counted the same.
Yep.
It just seems an odd way to go. I mean, granted that the supporters want to raise the cost of fossil fuels so that solar and wind energy is competitively priced. And that seems to me what's really behind it.
No, it's the way that this voting goes. It's everyone's stake. It's the same voice.
It's about as rational as the stock market. Voting.
Awesome. Anything else for Troy?
Just a quick, I just realized, I met with Connie Wood from Excel, looking at this utility pole at Reynolds for the fire district. In the next month, she's gonna send me a proposal to remove that, hopefully at no cost to the town. When I asked her about the strip of boulevard street lights, those 3 new ones we're supposed to get that Jenny Holmes cost shared with us. What she can tell me is she contacted the lady that was in charge of shipping, they were shipped, but they're somewhere in the United States.
Oh my God.
We have no idea where they're at.
Are they in Platteville, Wisconsin?
That's what I told her. I said, we do have a system, that's what you mentioned that. So this is Platteville, Wisconsin, our sister city, but they're trying to locate them. And then, she said they are just so understaffed with retirement, they're not hiring anybody new. There's only 4 linemen in the whole northern part of Colorado. They're trying to set up contracts, but, and also not heard from Al Ermer on the Main Street undergrounding. He was gonna give me some estimates last month, but I brought up to Connie, and I forgot to call Luke McConnell today. I'll do that tomorrow. Adrian, he's the XL regional manager at Fort Collins, and talked to him about both. But last resort is contact the PUC. I don't do that right now. So, but that came up, and then there's something else minor, but I can't remember what it was right now. Did you silence your phone, Harold?
Didn't want to bother you.
I voted for the gobbler for this month.
The government change it. Like Europe.
No, I think that's all yours.
I got the rules out to change the government.
I didn't have anything before the board. Do any of you have anything before the board?
We did send out, we're going to send out Friday, Christmas holiday party invitations
Yeah.
for,
Thank you.
yep. So, the ladies are working on that. It's just, nice to get together, and after a few years of Nordy's barbecue, we're gonna go with Olive Garden pasta. So, plus it cut our cost about half, because they deliver it and set it up, and then it's basically a buffet, you know, served, so just kind of cut some costs. So,
What's your response to your committees?
Pretty good, actually. I'm gonna start emailing everybody. There's I won't call it an application, but for lack of a better word, an application. So we have people's names down for the committees. So yeah, we'll start emailing everybody. We'll start that process in December.
cool.
Anything else? All right, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Quick question for you.
What is it now?
I've heard that
5822, 58, sorry.
propositions are statutory measures, right? So it has to be ratified by the state legislature before they go into effect. So they can effectively